Let's see here. Come on. Put us up there. Okay, I don't know why it's not working now. I went to brand. Hold on, James. The wife's coming to fix it. Come on. It won't work.
Why can't you get to come
It
up?
won't pop James and I up there. I did that. I'm already streaming.
Why do you have Darrell in here?
Where's Darrell? Darrell, why are you in here? I don't know, because he's special.
It should be right here.
Block, mute, classic.
Yeah, no. What'd you do, Jeremiah?
I didn't touch shit. And then I went to that layout and there's nothing popping up.
I don't know what you did. It should be under the brands.
Can you hear me, James?
Hear you? Can you hear me?
Yep. Finally got it working. Yay. I'm a real boy.
Dude.
I had to get the wife to fix it because apparently I hit the wrong button.
He's special.
I don't know. This is my second time running this thing, so give me a break.
He's special.
My bad. Sorry, all 0 people that are watching. All right.
Maybe now that we're up, they'll tune in now.
Yeah, Darrell's in here from
Lurking
New
in the
Orleans.
shadows.
So, how's life been?
Man, life is lifing. As you know, approaching Christmas is next week. At this point, we're about as ready as we're gonna get in this household. To everybody out there that is tuned in watching, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Enjoy how you celebrate, however you choose to bring it in, take it out. But it's been good, man. It's been good. What about you? What's been going on in your world?
I got to see like 15 inches of snow, and I got to meet my grandson. So it is awesome.
Good, good. And definitely, man, what little man's been here. Is it what, 2 weeks now?
2 weeks, yeah. Coulter was born on the 5th. So yeah.
So see, and that's good for mom and dad because they got a little bit of a reprieve on the birthday before Christmas. You
Eh,
know,
they say
so
free, but my daughter's learning that you know, sleep is not what it used to be.
nah, she can pretty much cancel that until he's at least like maybe what,
6,
8.
7. Yeah.
It's gonna be a minute, so hang in there, keep thugging it out. But yeah, you're gonna have some time on your hands before he starts sleeping through the night, more than
Yeah.
likely.
She got uh the dad is helping a lot. Except he is very much like my friends. He loves his NBA 2K. So he tries to work that in, you know, hold little man and play basketball at the same time. I mean, multitasking.
I mean, we've all been there, we've all done it. It'll be easier once little man can sit up in the little bouncer thing, and you can kind of bounce it as you play. So
Yep.
yeah, that's gonna be my one tidbit shout out there. But yeah, gotta get it in when you can, man.
Yeah, makes sense. So since our last episode, we've had all types of fun stuff going on. College football, NFL, and thank you for letting me get first place. I appreciate it.
I definitely was gunning for it. You beat me by a game there. Maybe next year a little bit better luck. Maybe I'll come out first place. But we each get the first round bye this year, so get a week off from making picks.
Please,
And
please tell me you did what I did.
oh, what? Still have my own selection and just didn't submit it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, of course
See,
I made my picks. I might not have turned them in,
I
but
did mine too.
I definitely went through it to make sure I stay on point, stay sharp for next week when we're back at it.
It's crazy. So now we're talking about pick'em. So I'm gonna kind of go off schedule or off, the lineup here. A lot of people are really upset about them changing the. Well, actually, I didn't put it on there, so I think I sent it to Darrell later. Changing the game, they brought in the Commanders and the Falcons game, and I
Then
think
flexing the Sunday night game next week.
flexing that because of the rookies. And I'm going to tell you, I'm excited to see Penix play. I really am.
Definitely, man. I think it's definitely an exciting opportunity with Michael Penix Jr. taking over. He'll get his first start this Sunday, coming up against the Giants, so they'll give him a little bit of a test run. But then, honestly, we all know at this point, when they're putting these games on TV, it's about making money, bottom line.
Yep.
And honestly, at this point, the Falcons and the Commanders, they believe it's more money than I believe what the game was Miami at Cleveland or Miami
Yeah.
and Cleveland. At this point in time, NFL believes that Atlanta, Washington is a more commanding game, will command more eyes than Cleveland and Miami will. If we're looking at it for what it is, both teams still have a chance to make the playoff. Atlanta still has a chance to win their division. So it's a playoff atmosphere, and that's what they're hoping for, that excitement, that drive. You have two young quarterbacks who potentially could be the next, decade for their franchises if they continue to play well, if they
Easily.
play well or continue to play well.
I'm excited to
So,
see what your Falcons receivers do when they get a ball that's got a little simmer on it.
I
They're
mean,
going to be
it'll
like,
definitely be different.
that
It'll
got in there
definitely be
quick.
different because, again, with everything that's transpired, honestly, I think at this point, Atlanta, they come to the realization
$40 million
Kirk just doesn't
sitting on
have it
your bench
anymore.
reading the clipboard.
$40 million might be on the bench reading a clipboard, but it's like at this point, you still have a chance to win here. You still have a chance to win your division, make the playoffs. And Kirk no longer gives you the best chance to do that. Honestly, I'm wondering if he's hurt or if there's something injured and it's just not been reported. because at one point in the season we were 6-3 after week 9, and he was playing good football. For him all of a sudden to just fall off a cliff in a sense. I mean, he wasn't necessarily mobile the entire season, but now the mobility is not there, the arm isn't there, his
He could
decision
move out
making's
of the
been
pocket when
off.
it collapsed, and now he can't.
Or he can't do anything now at this point. And so it's in a sense, they're playing with a rookie quarterback, I guess from what his physical limitations at this point. So it's like maybe they considered, hey, look, at this point we may as well throw the rookie in there because if Kirk's gonna make rookie mistakes at $40 million and cost us games, let's see what the kid has and just let the dice roll at this point, man.
I'm really excited because I remember watching a lot of the preseason stuff and them catching the balls from him. They're just like, ooh, that's got some sauce on it.
Definitely. I mean, and his game is a little bit different from Kirk's. He definitely loves to throw the deep ball. He's got the arm for it. Receivers have reported, back in preseason, it's a little bit different. Him being a lefty, he's got a different zip on it. But like you said, the arm is there. Even in the short stints that we've seen when he has gotten action this year in some blowout games, you go back to the Seattle game, you go back to the Denver game. When he was on the field, the throws just looked different. They looked strong arm throws, like the loft on the ball, the velocity, everything. It looked
They were ropes.
different between what Kirk was giving you versus what Penix was giving you. Now, at the time, it still felt like, hey, Kirk still got something that he can offer. He still got some sauce left. But honestly, I don't know what it was. It may be injury, but at this point in time, he just doesn't have it anymore. For whatever reason, he's lost it. He no longer gives
I
his
mean,
offense the best chance to win.
I'm okay with you
So he's
guys
on the
losing.
bench. Of course you are. That's because, you already have first place and you're hoping that you can ride this thing on out. But we'll see what happens. You guys have what Dallas coming up and then Carolina and New Orleans. So it's definitely in your favor. But Atlanta still got a shot mathematically. We'll see what happens. I'm just excited to hopefully that Penix plays well.
I really, really am looking forward to watch. That is the one game this weekend I'm excited to watch.
I think a lot of people will be tuned in for that one because again, it's something different, something new. Will the offense take on new life with Penix under center? Will we see deep balls to Mooney, Kyle Pitts, Drake London? Will the passing game kind of help pick up where, it was lacking with Kirk? I mean, we saw even this past Monday night, the run game looked decent, but we just couldn't do anything in the pass game. Even that third down where the refs bailed us out, where they called the roughing the passer, which honestly I didn't agree with. But, we got bailed out there and we hung on to win against the Raiders. It's like, the Raiders are 2-11 and we're just barely hanging on to beat them. There's something wrong with that picture.
Did you see where the NFL has fired a couple of officials?
Didn't see that, but I can't say I'm mad at it. I mean, we've seen this season alone. There's been some egregious officiating calls, but even with play clock handling, like for instance, the game on Sunday between the Commanders and the Saints, where it's 9 seconds left on the clock,
Right,
and it
and they
was nine
stop it.
seconds for like 3 seconds, and then eventually once it gets back up and going, that was the 3 seconds that the Saints needed to throw that touchdown to give them a chance to win the game. So yeah, there's been some egregious play calling, clock management by the
Do you
refs this
think
year, and
stuff
so
like
it's
that should
time.
be able to be reviewed? Do you think they'll talk about that in the winter meetings, as they
They
call them?
should, but they probably won't. It should be something that's discussed, but I don't foresee it happening because one, they'll say it'll slow down the game too much, or for whatever reason they'll have for defending the officials,
Slow
they
down.
won't
But
allow
the
it,
game's
but
gotten
it
so
should.
fast that they make so many mistakes. That's the problem.
And that could very well be, but I think something definitely has to change. I do like if they are firing officials for making mistakes, I do like they're holding them accountable for that. But something's got to give, man. We can't keep going through these games where officials are blowing calls or missing calls and continuing to, just skate by on it. It's good that you admit to it after the game that, hey, yeah, we missed it, or the report comes out, yeah, we blew this call or we missed that one. But it's like that's already changed the outcome of the game by that it's done. They're not going to line back up and play the game over from that call you missed. So it's like you need to get it right on the field. even if it takes the second time.
Well, and
Just
a
get the
lot of
call
the
right.
officials and stuff like that are lawyers in real life and judges and other things, and they do that. So, I mean, that they're not just some Joe Smo college professor that's coming out there to make $50 for the night. They're people of esteem, so say, that are making these mistakes, and that's huge.
It is, and then honestly, with their backgrounds, are they making mistakes? Or are they just bending the book a little bit? It leaves you to wonder sometimes.
Are they doing the Donahue thing?
Right. Are they cooking the books a little bit? We'll see. But yeah, I definitely believe the officials should be held accountable for their mistakes when they occur, especially when it's egregious errors, man. I mean, we can't have that if you're really interested in protecting the integrity of the game, which the
So,
NFL says they are.
since we're talking NFL, we might as well do our NFL update. So, this weekend's games, the Lions finally lost their second game of the year. Were you surprised, or I mean, I didn't
Honestly,
pick.
the way it went
I picked the
down
Bills to win
between
anyways. So,
you did. I picked Detroit for that one because I was like, all right, Detroit's at home. They have a Bills team coming in. I think at this point, it's a battle of attrition for Detroit. They just have so many injuries across the board. Now they've lost um,
what?
David Montgomery. They lost another defensive lineman also as well from this past Sunday. So they're just dealing with a lot of injuries right now, and
11
it's
defensive
starting to creep
linemen
up.
hurt. So, I
They're
mean,
starting to deal with the injury bug, and it's unfortunate because of the time of year that we're in. But hopefully
but
they find a way to keep it going or to figure it out. Maybe some of these guys rebound and come back.
because I think we talked about it last time, uh, it just solidifies the look that Josh Allen is having an MVP year.
Oh, definitely. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure Allen's the favorite for MVP. His last two games alone, I think they said he's had 10 touchdowns
Yeah.
over the last two games. And then even the game, what was it, Sunday night when they played the 49ers and he had the throw to the wide receiver pitches it back to him and he scores a touchdown
Oh,
off that. I
Amari
mean,
Cooper. Yeah.
right. I mean, that was miraculous in and of itself, and it's like that kind of encapsulates part of the MVP seasons. Like they could show that play maybe the entire night once they hand them the trophy. They'd be
Right.
like, I mean, hey, look, look at it. How can you deny this guy's the MVP this year? But yeah, I think at this point it's Allen's award to lose. But yeah, he's definitely the front runner for it, and I would say it's well earned at this point.
They only have, I think, like 5 teams that haven't scored 30 points this year, and they're all of them are the lower echelon that only have that the most of 4 wins, except
Mhm.
one team, the Chiefs.
I mean, but the Chiefs' offense this year has just been lackluster to say the least. I mean, without having Rasheed Rice being there, with the decline that looks like that Travis Kelsey is going through, honestly, Mahomes is just looking to finish games the best way he can. I'm sure he's doing his best to elevate the talent they do have at the receiver position and tight end position. But
I
I mean,
mean,
we can just look
no
at the product on the field. There's nothing there. He
Noah
doesn't really
Gray
have much to work
is
with.
or Gray is looking amazing at the tight end position for him.
Honestly, if you think about it, man, Noah Gray and Travis Kelsey, if you think back to Space Jam, where they had the basketball and the Monstars stole their power, I think Noah Gray and Travis Kelsey touched the football at the same time. And like Kelsey kind of lost some juice and gave it to Gray. I mean, that might explain some of it. But yeah, I
That's
mean,
great.
it's been wild just to see like the decline that Kelsey's had, and like some people are saying he was just saving it. He's saving it for the postseason of the playoffs. I don't think there was anything to save at this point.
No,
Like I
I,
honestly don't believe there's anything left.
I think, and I'm not even gonna do the Taylor Swift thing because I think his mind is on other priorities in life, like his podcast and his, making money in the commercials and have you what, because that is the long term thing for him. Where football, you can only play it at a high level for so long.
Definitely. I mean, he could be looking to set himself up for life after football. And if that's the case, I can't say I blame him. We've seen other players do it. We've seen other athletes in other sports do it. If that's truly what he's looking for, I would say, best of luck to him. Maybe at the end of the season, if by some miracle the Chiefs do happen to three-peat, he goes out on top as a three-time champ and he hangs up his cleats a year
Well,
after his brother does. I mean,
he,
I think his brother has a large impact on him, and maybe
he
that could be some of the reason why
he's
he's
only
not
he's
performing.
only 35 though. I mean, I
Look,
know the three-peat, but does he have the numbers that makes him a Hall of Fame player?
he had the numbers way before the season. Well, I would say definitely before the season, he had the numbers. And
Okay.
then him being a two-time champ going into the year, the numbers are there. He'll definitely be a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, first ballot. That's not even an argument.
Okay.
He's going to be in Canton one day. I think the only argument is, does he make it in first, or does his brother make it in first,
Oh,
or
his
does
brother's
he get
definitely
in
making it in
first and
first.
then his brother makes it in a year after him, or do they hold Jason back a year so that him and Travis can be inducted at the same time
That'd be
if
dirty,
Kelsey
but
retires at the end of the year? I
I
mean, it might be
think
dirty, but it could be a good story. We
I
have
mean,
two
100.
brothers going
I
in at the
really
same
think
time.
Jason Kelsey is the best center that I've seen play besides Jeff Saturday and Nick Mangold, hands down.
I would agree with that. And then honestly, how many centers around the league can you name? Everybody knows Jason Kelsey for the most part, and it's like he plays a position that most people don't even know. That most people that's the guy that just hikes the ball. Well, like a lot of people don't even know their center's name. And for Kelsey to, play so well at that position for so many years, and then even in the latter end of his career with the tush push and everything they established, that play predominantly works because of his push from up the middle. And
Yep.
I would even say in the year he's been gone, Philly's still been able to run it, but it doesn't look the same without him being there because again, he was that momentum push that shifts the
Imagine
line to get it
him
going.
with Barkley.
I would say that would put Philly at even more better odds to win the Super Bowl if Kelsey
That's
was still there.
that's crazy. That's all I got on there. So, next topic, college football playoffs, the chaos that is that. We got 12 teams, got a couple with buys. Thoughts? What do you are you excited? Or are you just like me?
I would say I'm definitely excited, man. I mean, this is the first year where the playoffs expanded to 12 teams. In years past, there's always been that argument of, who the fifth team was, or the fifth team is getting screwed because there's only four spots. There need to be more spots. Well, hey, this year we have more spots. And now the argument is the 13th team is being screwed. But in my opinion, if you're the 13th team in the country, you should have won all your games, or you should have won more games, because we're honestly at this point, it'll never be enough if we continue with this argument. They could expand it to 20, and then we'll just argue, well, hey, the 21st team is getting screwed. The 21st team in the country deserves a shot. It used to be back in the day, the BCS computers determined everything, and they didn't give
Yeah.
a damn what level you were. If you didn't meet the formula, you weren't going to the championship. At least
Remember
at this
Auburn?
point, the kids have a chance to fight it out.
Exactly. I
So
mean,
I'm excited for it.
for me, some of the things like you get um the Clemson Texas game I'm interested in seeing because those two quarterbacks have won against each other before in the Texas State Championship,
Mhm.
and Cade came out on top. But Notre Dame not having a conference, that whole non-conference thing, still to me, I get why they don't do it, but at the same time, come on, it's been 60 years. Join something.
I don't think Notre Dame will ever join a conference for football. Of course, we know what for basketball and all the other sports. I think they were ACC. But
Yeah.
even if you are Notre Dame, there's no chance at this point that you would join the ACC for football. If Notre Dame was to join a conference, it'd either be the SEC or the Big Ten. But I foresee them always staying independent. Um, it's been their history. It'll always be their history, in my opinion. I don't necessarily have a problem with it so long as the team is good. They're 11-1 this year. Granted, they are independent. They've played some tough games, and at times they've looked spectacular. at times they've looked terrible.
Like
But
Ohio State
I think they
against
earned their
Michigan.
spot to be here. That was a horse of a different color, but that was terrible all the same.
Oh God,
That was terrible. I think
Chip Kelly was playing
Ryan Day
Madden
got into a
calling.
pissing contest with Michigan, and
Oh,
Michigan pisses better at this point. I mean,
I was
you guys did
so
not play your game whatsoever. You guys did not play your game. Throwing the ball around the yard, that's your strength with Smith, Ibuka, all those guys at receiver. That's you guys' strength at Ohio State. And for you to try to deviate away from that just to prove that you're the tougher team,
we're
it's like,
running
bro,
on 3rd
congrats, you're
and
the tougher
19.
team, and you
Ugh.
lost. Or you're
Well,
still, in Michigan's eyes, you're still soft as hell, and guess what? Now you've lost again. So
well,
it's like,
I'm not going to
what
disagree
good
with
did that
that because
get
I
you?
think we're soft, and then we have senators now passing bills and our representatives in Ohio that if you plant the flag, it's a felony. Oh, come on. Stop being a little bitch.
I mean,
I
at this point, if you don't like
sorry.
Michigan planting the flag on your field, how about you just beat them? How about you beat their ass? Then they won't
Exactly.
have a flag to plant. Or, hey, next time you go up to Ann Arbor, if you beat their, plant the flag back. We're blowing this thing out of proportion at this point. The kids planted a flag because they won. It's rivalry week. This is what we play the game for.
And
College
it's one
football
of the rivalry.
rivalry is like one of the biggest points of the year outside of the
Exactly.
playoff. Playing your rival, getting that edge up over them. If UVA walked into Blacksburg and handed Tech their ass by 21 points, I would have no problem with them planting the flag at midfield because guess what? It's going to keep the players hungry for next year, next time around. That way they go to Charlottesville or wherever and blow them the hell out and put a
And I mean,
flag back and
let's
say,
be
hey, this
honest,
is
they
ours.
earned it.
Right. If you play a team for 60 minutes and you beat the shit out of them or you just whoop them down and you decide to plant the flag, guess what? You've earned it. If the other team doesn't like it, hey, next time, how about you beat us? And then you won't have to worry about it.
I'm not going to disagree. Like it made me mad, and but when you start getting the cops involved with pepper spray and stuff, you can't be separated. I got an issue with that. You should be grown enough to know when enough is enough. You've proved your point. Walk away.
I mean,
So
maybe that's something that they'll work on, but as far as the whole trying to ban the flag planting, definitely disagree with that. I think, there is a place for that in college football. It wasn't an issue before. And now, since it's happened, we want to just blow it out of proportion at this point. So
so
I'm for
who
flag
do you got
planting.
winning? The
What, college football playoff, the whole
Yep.
thing? Man, I like Oregon at this point. Again, number one team in the nation. They've played what arguably some of the top teams in their conference going through Ohio State. Granted, they only lost by 1 point in a bonehead decision by Will Howard. But, I think Oregon can do it, man. This might be the year where they actually are set up and built to win. We know that Phil Knight has basically bragged that, hey, look, I will buy a championship at Oregon
Yep.
if need be. Well, hey, Phil, this is your year to do it, man. You're the number one seed. You have the bye. The way the bracket's set up, I believe they're on what? They're on
they're
the
set up.
tougher side, but I think they still
They're
have a
set
great
up to either
path.
play Ohio State again or Tennessee. And if they play Tennessee, I think Tennessee is going to beat them like a drum.
Really?
Oh yeah, Tennessee is a
Really?
different beast.
So I guess what? How do you feel about Tennessee taking on your team then?
I'm praying every night. I'm not even messing around. I'm praying every night. The Tennessee players were already at the shoe,
Mhm.
seeing how many miles it was to the river.
Oh wow!
So I mean,
And it's like I think for you guys, man, you have to be leery of it because Tennessee can kind of
I don't
rough it
like
up too.
Will
Their ground
Howard
game is
at
good.
quarterback at all. I'm not sold on him. I wanted Aaron Nolan, but he just entered the transfer portal, and we got Julian Sane. So I think we need to start one of them guys. Kind of pull a Nick Saban, pull out the starter, put in a fresh face, that a gunslinger of sorts that can throw it around. Because let Jeremiah Smith do what he does and win the game.
I mean, because honestly, Howard's played along with bad play calling, definitely cost y'all the Michigan game. I
Four.
mean, the interceptions
Four
he was throwing, it
interceptions,
was
but
like,
in the
dude,
red zone in the last 2 games.
it's like you and I can make these layup throws that he was missing or that turnovers were occurring on him. It's
Right.
just like, man, this is not why they brought you to Columbus. This is not why you're getting paid the money you are from NIL. And honestly, at this point, I believe he's one of the quarterbacks in the playoff where if he has an off game, his team will lose. The other quarterback I feel that way about, the game you talked about earlier, Quinn Ewers of Texas, man. I mean,
Oh yeah.
when he's on, he looks good, but I don't know what it is here lately. I think they said he's possibly dealing with an ankle, but he
But
has looked horrible. Like even going back to
he
the
gets
SEC championship
one
game.
rattle and he's done.
I mean, going back to the SEC championship game against Georgia, how many opportunities did Texas have early to kind of put that game away with Georgia not being able to get much on offense, and Texas is kicking field goals instead of getting touchdowns? And then, not to mention the second half, you find out that Beck isn't going to play, and they have to bring in Gunnar Stockton off the bench, kid who hasn't really played all year, and he's keeping it competitive with Texas. He's going out there beating your defense, and then the Georgia defense is going out there and beating the Texas offense. At this point, I don't think it's Sark or his play calling; it's his quarterback. And if
Uh,
he continues to
yep.
play that way, they'll be going home, and it'll possibly be round one.
You have the legacy sitting behind you and Manning. I mean, that's got to be enough for you to be like, damn, let me keep my game together.
Right. I mean, if Ewers isn't able to execute the plays, why is he on the field? Especially if you do have a guy in Arch Manning that you believe is the heir apparent that's going to be taking over next year. Why is Ewers on the field then if he can't execute and you believe Manning can? Or if you need to change pace, you need to switch it up a little bit. Have Arch go in there, run a set of plays for him, and then take Ewers back out or put Ewers back in. But you can't continue to trot this man out there for him to just fall apart at the first signs of pressure or to get rattled and throw picks in crucial moments or just miss throws.
What happened to Beck? I remember if a quarterback was pissing the bed, they would bring in the backup just to see if they could give him a spark. They don't do that because they're worried about hurting their psyche. Men need to grow up and show out. That's it.
I mean, at this point, they're getting paid. So you're paid to deal with your psyche. Yeah. You're paid to handle your psyche off the clock or off the field, whatever. That's what the money's for.
Just log into your phone and look
if your psyche and ego is bruised, we're paying you to deal with that after the game or before the game. I'm pretty sure there's a therapist on the sideline or somebody that can help deal with your bruised ego or psyche. But at this point, the kids are getting paid. You're getting paid to perform. And if you're Quinn Ewers, if you're not performing, Arch Manning should be in the game, not you.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Now, talking about that, how do you feel about Belichick being the new head coach at UNC?
Honestly, it still feels weird. Like, it feels like it's a gag story, and like I'm waiting for them to kind of pull the punchline and be like, ha ha, like we got you guys. The way Belichick ran it in New England, I guess it was considered a program like in college, but I don't know if his level of coaching or his style of coaching translates over to dealing, like we said, some of these young men with these psyche issues. I'll tell you this, his team is definitely going to be the most mentally tough team in college football, more than likely, if they survive camp with him. It'll definitely be a well-disciplined, well-trained team. They'll know all the rules.
I can't wait for ACC week.
Media day? Year. If it's anything like the New England day, we're on to North Carolina State. We got to play better. Yeah, they have some good guys over on that team, too.
Julian Edelman said it. He's like, they're going to have a whole bunch of 5'9" white wide receivers all over the field.
I mean, I guess as long as they got some speed, like if they can catch and if they can run, who cares? I definitely believe, college football is a little bit more about playing on the boundaries, the speed, playing outside the numbers. If they're 5'9", white, can catch and run outside the numbers, who cares?
Exactly.
Now, if they're 5'9" and you're dinking and dunking, you're going to probably win a lot of games 17-14. But this is college. That rarely happens. So I think he will have to change up his scheme a little bit, at least offensively. But I'm curious to see how the defense is going to perform because Belichick teams defensively they always do well, and so long as he has the guys on defense to kind of pull that together, I think that part of the ball will come back easy.
I feel a lot
That
of
part will be
parents
there.
are excited about having their kid be recruited by Belichick because, you know,
But I don't see him going around to people's homes though, man.
that's
If
the thing I'm
anything,
still
I
waiting
could see
for.
him on Zoom call. I could see him on Zoom or Teams or something,
But then
chatting
you
with the
got
kid,
his
but I don't see him going across
questionability and
America.
like the Hernandez and Gronk picks. You know, he's got to
Yeah,
look
look.
after these young men, not just let them do whatever they want once they get drafted.
Honestly, I think Bill's the type of guy where he'll hire somebody to do that. It's like, look, I take care of them once they're in the facilities, once they're on the football field. Outside of that, we have people in place to help rein them in or help do all of those
Do
things.
you think he
I,
took
I, I
his
don't see him out there hustling down kids on a Saturday night saying, "Why aren't you in the dorm?"
girlfriend's ring doorbell down?
Honestly, I mean, his girlfriend might help him with recruiting. She understands the kids at this point. She's only like a couple years older than them. So, I think she'll probably help his recruiting assets or his recruiting search benefits.
Oh, assets. I like good play on words, bro. I like it. Uh, Speaking of other coaches, Michael Vick at Norfolk. Uh, are you worried, or do you think it's a good move? I mean,
So I'm
we
not
we we let
worried.
a felon be a president, so we're gonna let one coach, high school or college football.
I mean, hey, look, all felonies are not the same. Granted, he served his time, he's moved on, he's paid his debts to society. And honestly, I believe this move here is a chance for him to give back to society, give back to his hometown or the Hampton Roads area, which he
Mhm.
said he wanted to do. He gets that chance to do it now. Him getting the head coaching job at Norfolk State, definitely a good opportunity for him. We'll get to see what his style's like as a coach. He can kind of start to build a program and honestly, this could put him on the path to potentially getting a better head coaching job in college, maybe even a gateway door to the NFL if that's what he wants to do. But he's got a prime opportunity here, man. He's from the area, Hampton Roads. He knows that area. He can definitely recruit it. I mean, if we're talking about traveling America, going to homes, who would you rather have on your couch if you're a kid, Bill Belichick or Mike Vick at this point?
Oh, Mike Vick, 100%. But do you?
Exactly.
My question though is, do you think he should have started off as a high school head coach, like what
Honestly,
Teddy
man,
Bridgewater did? Teddy Bridgewater went back and he won the state championship. I think, or in California, was it
I think he was in Florida.
Florida?
His high
What?
school in Florida that he won the
That's
state
still an
championship for.
amazing, because Florida and California is where two of the top states where the talent comes from for college football. So
Definitely. I mean, it would have been nice if he could get a start there, but I don't believe this is his first coaching job either. I think he's had some different jobs around the league as either a position coach or coordinator, not coordinator, um, but assistant, different things. So I don't believe this is his first time around coaching. Might be his first opportunity as a head coach. I mean, but we see it all the time. Guys get their starts at different levels. He was able to get an opportunity here in Norfolk. I mean, honestly, who's to say that, there was even a coaching job in high school available for him? He
right.
took a job that was available for him. He feels that it's a good fit. Honestly, I believe it's a good fit for him. Like he said, he knows the area, he knows how to recruit it. It'll be a chance for him to, like we said earlier, build a program and he can parlay that into other jobs, other opportunities. Maybe even he gets to go back to Blacksburg one day, first as an opponent against the Hokies, and maybe one day he gets to go back wearing the maroon and orange as the Hokies head coach. You never know. I definitely wish him the best. I definitely think that this will give the school some more morale boost. I mean, homecoming down there is already a big thing. Can you imagine homecoming next year with Mike Vick leading the Spartans and they have a winning record or they're at least competitive?
Right.
Like, come on, man. It's gonna be good times in
I
Norfolk.
agree. I believe me. The only thing I got against Michael Vick is I don't think we ever won against him. So
You
he
never know. He could be in the
revolutionized the
NFL one day
game.
as a Falcons coach. continuing
So,
to kick Tampa Bay's ass. So it could happen.
yeah. So, how do you feel about what you've seen so far from the transfer portal at college? I, do you think they need to put some more regulations on that? Because that's just the entire Marshall team leaving to follow their coach. I get why they did it, but the implications of what it does to the program is astronomical. I mean, there's got to be a fine line in the sand with that, in my opinion.
I don't like it. Like you said, for instance, with the Marshall situation, you have a whole team transferring out so they can follow the coach. I don't believe that's what the transfer portal was intended for. I do believe it is being abused. I think we see some of these kids just jump in the portal just because they don't like their situation, just because they were made certain promises, and now those promises aren't being fulfilled, or they just don't get the playing time they're looking for. So I believe every student's entry into the portal is for different reasons. What I don't like about it is I believe honestly that it should be done at the end of the season if they could find a way. I don't believe because we have kids now opting out of bowl games and jumping in the portal just to see where they can go next. I mean, we have kids moving up levels, down levels, going across the state. Like for instance, what
Mm.
Virginia Tech lost their starting left tackle to Auburn. They
Yep.
lost the starting DB to LSU. Granted, these were probably guys that next year on the team they were going to be starters again, impact players, and now they're gone. And before Tech even has played their bowl game this year, and I'm pretty sure there's other examples of it around the country. What I saw
There
this
needs to be
morning,
guidelines for tampering
they can't even put guidelines on how to use the portal or when to get in and when to get out. There's no way they could even begin to tackle tampering at this point.
because I
I feel
mean,
like tampering's
one
always been a part of college football, and it always will be. A lot of these kids get in the portal because they're promised a bigger bag somewhere else.
I mean, I've heard stories. When I flew up to Michigan, I sat beside a guy that played for Michigan State, and he's like, "You wouldn't believe the bags that my roommate was pulling in because he came to play with us instead of the Wolverines." And my mom was working 3 jobs to get me my meal plan paid for, and he's just walking around handing out hundies to people. It's not just a today problem, which
Yeah. Tampering's
is,
always been a part of it. Guys getting
yeah,
paid under the table, the brown bag handshakes back in the day. I mean, that's been a part of college football, probably a part of college athletics. It always will be. I think, they will try their best to put limits on it to try to reduce it. But at this point, it's the wild, wild west, man. They can't really stop kids from entering the portal. There's no real guidelines to say what constitutes you getting the opportunity to transfer. If anything, the only thing I think that'll slow it down is if they bring back the eligibility rules like back in the day where it's like, hey, if you transfer, you got to sit out for a year. That might
right.
be the only thing
Or put a
that'll slow
limit
it
on the
down.
number of times you can transfer. Because remember, Tate
Yeah,
Martell,
yeah, some kids are transferring every year at this point.
yeah, he transferred every
Martell was
year,
one
and
of
now
them.
he's nothing.
What? I'm pretty sure there's some other kids this year. Oh, what? Bear Alexander, the kid that started at Georgia, then he went to SC. I think he's in the portal again.
Hasn't
And
he
I think
played
he's either
like
going to Penn
for 9
State
years?
or something like that at this point. But, you know, I understand why it's there to give players an opportunity to exercise, going to a different school to get a better chance to play,
Right.
but it's definitely being abused at this point. I would say as far as moves that I've liked, I did see today that Caden Slater, the quarterback from Liberty, gets to go out to Colorado with Coach Prime. I'm interested to see how that's going to work because again, with Shador leaving, I believe Slater has the arm talent, but he also has the legs that, that's not the biggest part of Shador's game. So Coach Prime can bring him in, kind of have him coach up the team,
I
coach up
really thought
Julian
I would see
Fleming,
Coach
and let's
Prime
see what happens.
go to the NFL because
Not yet.
he's done his
Not
thing,
yet.
but they also signed the number one defensive tackle because Warren Sapp being there.
And see, I feel like that's part of the reason why he won't go to the next level just yet. I mean, he said it himself in different interviews throughout time where it's like, hey, look, college is where I want to be. I don't want to be in an atmosphere where I'm coaching grown men making millions of dollars, playing for the money and not the love of the game. He believes that the kids he brings on his team, they're playing for the right reasons. They're playing for the love of the game. He's able to get them paid while they're doing it. But college is where he wants to be for the moment. I think honestly, we probably see him
So
transition to another college team before
while
he even
while we're
goes
still in
NFL.
college, what did you think of the Heisman?
I don't have a problem with it. I
I
mean, I
didn't
really don't.
either. I mean, Gentry had a great season, but what Hunter did was very reminiscent of the way Woodson played. And I don't like many. There's two Michigan players that I have high respect for. One of them is Charles Woodson. The other is Aiden Hutchinson. I love their game. I love their pro game. And Travis Hunter is an amazing talent. I think they got it right.
I mean, like you said, man, I don't have an issue with it. I believe, like you said, Hunter is a great talent. He's arguably the top cornerback in the nation and a top, what, 15, 20 receiver, if not
Yeah.
top 10. So, I mean, you have a guy who's top 10 at multiple positions, and the Heisman is supposed to go to the best player in college football. Travis, Travis Hunter's ability on the field shows you that he's not, just one position. He is a football player. And so he won the trophy for the best player in college football. Ashton Genty definitely had an amazing season. I believe part of what hurt him was Boise State keeping him out of some games. Granted, it might have been stat padding, it might have been running up the score. But in a situation like this, if he played a lot of those games where they set him out the second half or so on, he could have maybe had 3,000 yards. And then undeniably at that point, he's the Heisman winner. But, it didn't go that way. His stats are his stats at the moment. He's had a great season. I think part of it is also he plays at Boise State in the Mountain West Conference. A lot of people believe that anybody could have gone out there and put up the numbers he's put up. I don't necessarily agree with that take, but it is what it is at this point. Travis Hunter, he's a Heisman winner. Both guys are going to the NFL next year, so they can joke about it at the next level. Maybe
Right.
go out, have some drinks, whatever, before or after the game, and laugh about it.
I agree. Because for me, watching there were certain games where he got shut down. He didn't show up. And there were, other game, like if you watched Hunter, if he wasn't having a good offensive game, he was out there making defensive plays where you're like, so
I
I
mean, the
mean, he
Colorado State game,
he
they win
showed up.
because of the tackle he makes at the goal line and it causes a fumble.
Yep, he's a difference maker. He needs to go to the NFL simply as a corner. That is his best position, in my opinion.
We'll see what happens. I think he'll definitely voice his opinion, play both ways in the NFL. I think he should make his living on the defensive side, and then a team just have offensive packages for him to let him get an opportunity at receiver. But I think at the next level, for most NFL teams, he's going to be receiver two, receiver three. And at that point, I believe that allows him to kind of play that offensive package. But if you're expecting him to be your starting receiver and starting DB at the NFL level, you're going to burn the kid out. He's not going to make it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So getting close to being at our hour mark. So we're gonna go to the boring sport that everybody hates, baseball. How do you feel about Soto taking the bag and going to the Mets instead of staying with the Yankees?
I mean, financially, I don't have a problem with it. He's earned his money. He got the most money he could from a team. I think baseball wise, it's probably not the best move for him. To my knowledge, the Mets
It,
usually don't win. The
the
Yankees are
Mets
usually
suck.
competitive.
Yeah.
The Mets are one of those teams where, they're the Yankees' little brother, or I guess at this point, the redheaded stepchild.
Mm-hmm.
And, he'll definitely have his money. I don't know if he'll ever be on my TV in October, which, is what I'll judge it by. But he's got his money to keep him happy. What's he signed like what? How many years is it? It's like a
I,
ridiculous amount of years along with the money.
I thought it was like 8 years, but it was like almost 400 million. Let me check.
All right, so he's going to be satisfied with the money, or that'll at least keep him happy if he's not winning games, if he's not playing in the
Oh, I
postseason.
apologize. You're right. 15 years,
Jesus Christ.
767 million.
Lord. Yeah, with money like that, man, he's just satisfied with that. He could probably care less if he wins a world championship or not. He
He's
doesn't
going to be
care.
the
He's got
next
the money.
Bobby Bonilla. The Mets are still going to be paying him in the year 3000.
That's if he's even alive to cash the checks at this point, man. It'll be his grandkids or somebody cashing
Well,
those checks.
exactly, because that's what Bonilla has. If he's no longer with us, his kids get the check.
So yeah, hopefully Juan and his team set that up. He may never win again, or he may never win anything, but he got the money. So, he got the bag. Live with that.
Baseball's one of those sports where, I want to know, like, I see the money in the contracts, where they get this money, because
Right. I mean, baseball contracts are guaranteed. So I don't know what type of operation they're running to pay these guys this type of money. Maybe we see one day where the MLB goes bankrupt and then it's like the contracts just get torn up. I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing or not. But for a sport that is supposedly on the decline, that people don't really watch, I don't know how they're able to guarantee these guys all this money. That that might be worth something to pull the curtain back on for whoever wants to go out there and do that. But
right.
yeah, I don't know how these guys are able to get this level of money if the sport isn't generating it for them. Because you got to
Because
think the owners have to pay this money from somewhere. They're
like
just not pulling it out of thin air.
the Yankees and the Dodgers, like, just pulling money out of the air. I want to know how they do this, because that would be a great magic trick for you and I to know.
I ain't even got to have all of it, just like a tenth of it, or a 100th of it. Just
I would take
a little sprinkle,
1%,
something.
but I mean, damn.
It
So,
definitely makes you think, man. Do you want to put the kids in baseball? Because one day, they could grow up, and by that point, they could
well,
be making what, $1
right
billion
now I can think of
on 15
4
years.
or 5 left-handed quarterbacks in the college, where 3 years ago I could only tell you one, because left-handers are definitely pushed, because my nephew is a lefty, and he was definitely pushed to play baseball more than he was football because of the money
Oh yeah, I mean,
and
and
the longevity of the career.
longevity of the career, less injuries, less hits, and
He
for
was
whatever
like
reason.
12 throwing 80 mile an hour.
Oh, so yeah, that's good money. That's good future perspective money. And
Yep.
like you said, lefties are coveted, man. That different spin on the ball, the different look, with most people, most players being right-handed, seeing the ball come out left-handed perspective, it throws them off their game. So I definitely see why the money is there for a lot of left-handed people. In sports, like even in the NBA, a lot of people argue that left-handed shooters are better than right-handed shooters because most people are told to defend from a person with a right-handed perspective. So, we'll see if it translates to wins for these lefties. But as a fellow lefty, I'm all for it. I approve the lefty movement.
I'm made to be a lefty because of all the funness, and it kind of sucks sometimes.
I mean, well, you'll learn to love it.
There's 1,200 deaths a year because of things that are made for right-handed people that kill left-handed people.
And I don't like that. I don't like that stat. That's a bad statistic. I believe we may need a lot of these left-handed athletes, with the resources to, kind of make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. Maybe they start a left-handed company that produces products to save their fellow lefties.
I love it, James, because my youngest daughter is left-handed, so I understand it. It's crazy,
I mean,
but
definitely, it's hard
anyways,
sometimes for lefties fighting over that one desk that's left-handed in the classroom and the kid
yep,
that gets it. not even left-handed. It's like, dude, you don't need this. Move.
I just wanted it because it's different.
And it's like, it's different for a reason. Get to the other desk.
It's for me, asshat. You got anything you want to talk else you want to talk about?
Let's see. Oh, I guess what? Even though this is a legacy on fire, something that I do find with sports now, specifically football, that is utterly ridiculous in my opinion. This swag trend of the multiple mouthpieces, whether you have two mouthpieces on your helmet or you have the guy sticking the mouthpiece in the top of the helmet through like the little holes in the helmet. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think it's utterly ridiculous, downright stupid. I get wanting to be swaggy. I get looking good, feeling good, playing good. This is stupid. There's no reason for you to have excessive mouthpieces dangling from your helmet or stuck in your helmet.
You got
I
one
don't know if
mouth.
this causes CTE or a concussion. I don't know if it helps reduce it, but there's got to be a better way. This can't be the swaggiest thing that you guys can do. Like, are you guys running out of ideas that bad
We'll
to
know it
differentiate
helps
yourself and
CTE
be
when we
swaggy?
see Tua walking around. But
I don't know if I don't know, man. If it does help with that, what the hell are Guardian caps for then? We should have just been giving the players mouthpieces to stick in their helmets. It would have been a whole lot cheaper. But it's definitely stupid. It looks ridiculous. And why? Like whoever came up with that idea, honestly,
Antonio
if we had a
Brown
time machine, I would go back and like we would have to go back and eliminate this person from playing in the game that day because it's
smacked the
honestly
shit out
stupid.
of him.
It's ridiculous. I hate it.
Oh well. Let's see. I guess we're a couple minutes over. What do you think about Campbell's walking out in the third quarter? Saint or
Oh,
not
Devondre
Saint?
Campbell.
Yeah,
I don't like it from a competitive aspect. Again,
that's a toddler move in my book.
right. The first thing people will go, well, you don't know what he's going through. You don't know what he's dealing with. Okay, but at the same time, if he expects to get his game check for the week, he's suited up to play and to refuse to go into a game, especially when you weren't hurt, you weren't injured, you had the capability to walk off the field. You should have finished the game with the people you walked on the field with. Like you're not the only guy on that team going through something. You're not the only guy on that team hurt, nicked up, anything. And the guys lined up next to you were willing to put it all on the line, and you left them out to dry.
I called it Antonio Brown move.
I mean, I don't know how you can honestly bring him into your locker room after a move like that because the guys will question it and they'll know, well, hey, look,
That's
we don't
toxic.
know if you're 100% on the line with us because you had an opportunity to go in and play and prove that if he was honestly upset that Greenlaw was the starter again, hey, you had an opportunity to go in the game and show why you deserve to be starting, you deserve that spot,
Exactly.
and you pissed it away because you were upset or you were sad or it wasn't going your way anymore. You pissed away that opportunity. I hope he saved his money up. I hope he's good from a financial standpoint because his career honestly could be over because who else
No,
wants
the
to bring in a
Giants
player that
calling.
doesn't want to play? I don't know. I don't know if the Giants are that dumb. I mean, they're dumb, but I don't know if they're that dumb. I
I
think
plead the
Russ would agree
fifth.
with me on that one. They're dumb, but I don't think they're that dumb.
All right. Well, that is the conclusion of our episode 2 of the J&J podcast. It has been a blessing, my friend. Should be back next week. I don't, knock on wood, I don't have much traveling to do. So, anything you want to tell the peeps?
Hey, appreciate it, everybody out there tuned in, listening, or listen to it afterwards. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Check out all the great stuff we got here at the Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Yep. Basketball season is getting in full swing. So, yay.
Wait, they play that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they do. Somewhere.
I haven't watched yet. It's just not.
I
That's
know
another
that
thing
my
where
Cavs
play level
have
just
only
sucks at
lost
this
4
point.
games.
Congratulations to the Cavs, but at this point, I'll just wait till the postseason to watch teams jack up 53s and only make 10 of them.
You sound like me when it comes to hockey. I just want to watch the playoffs, bro. That's it.
I mean, that's what the NBA is turning into, man. But we'll see. We'll see. There's time.
All right. Everybody, have a great night. Good weekend. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas from Legacy Maker.
Definitely.
All right. God bless. Let's see. Outro. He didn't make us an outro, so they get the intro.